starting. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our class. Today's topic is the talk. It's totally not what I expected when I choose this the talk. I expected it would be something about, psychological things, about serious questions and all this stuff. Because we have to talk sometimes has this connotation to me. But it's something different. Okay, Vasant, can you tell us what it's about?
Okay, this speaker she's a comedian, and so basically she have the humor inside her. So one day, her daughter asked a question about how do frogs get fertilized. So how they uh, born like that. So she said, okay, frog lays eggs, so that's how they reproduce themselves. Then she said, "How do they lay egg?" Not every. Then the mother said, "Not every frogs. Only female frogs lay eggs." Then, okay. Then she asked a few more questions. Okay, if female can lay eggs, do humans also lay egg? Then like that. So then she answered, "No. We do not lay eggs like that." She explained every thing without adding too much data because it is controversial, and it is like walking on a rope or something. So you can slip down if you add few more details to a 80-year-old girl. So she was very careful, and she answered every questions. Finally, her daughter asked about, do we have any mating videos on the internet? Then the mom said yes, we have, and they watched some cat mating videos on YouTube, some other animals. Finally, the girl asked, do we have any human mating videos on internet? Then the mom said no, that would never happen. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think she was right? Is it true?
I'm not sure, but
Lots
she
of
will
porn on
she
the
would found
internet.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a joke that internet is for porn, not for other things. So it's for two things. The main goal is porn, and the secondary goal is sharing cats on the internet, pictures of cats. But without any jokes, porn industry made a lot of progress for IT. They always need more throughput, if it's correct word, throughput, and all these things, and they pay well, so they always like a driver for our industry. It's true.
Is that right?
And there is a good job. It's they provide very good jobs, especially for juniors, because working for such a company, you will always struggle with a very complex tasks, high load, many requests per seconds, and so on. So it's speaking from the point of view of engineer, it's a it's a hard job. You can rise up your skills.
I've never heard of an IT job in the porn industry. It's not something I read about, but you encountered it, huh?
Yeah. I can share a few technologies. They were invented especially by porn industry. For instance, one of them is multicast. Multicast. It's a okay. Let me show you multicast.
Is that right? That was just for the.
Yeah.
Is that because they have all the little videos running on the screen or something?
Kind of. It's we when we have now video from this hangout, every of us have this video like flow.
Just okay.
Yeah, but multicast it's used to combine the streams of video together. For instance, if someone join from this call from my town, we will have one stream to my town only, not duplicated. So it's multicast. It can combine the streams. So and routers in the internet not so busy.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So, but my question is, before my question, do we have something to add to this TED talk? Something missed, Gerard? No.
I think so. I think the title of the talk is because it's the talk that fathers have to do with their children. Explain how reproduction works.
Okay.
So that's the reason of this title, the talk.
Okay, but let me ask you, who should do that, fathers or mothers?
Sometimes, usually children learn that before in school. In school.
Okay. Teacher Lee, when you saw this TED talk, you immediately knew about what is this, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
Well, when you say the talk, I knew right away because it's a cultural thing in America. Parents always dread the talk they have to have with their kids when they have to get serious.
I see. Because I see that no one of us got this connotation right. When I saw the talk, I expected something serious. Like my wife told me, we have to talk and something.
We must talk.
It could be like divorce or marriage or something. Yeah. In American culture, we have a couple of phrases that deal with the talk. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll say it's time to talk about the birds and the bees.
Hmm.
And this refers to animals in general, how they reproduce and stuff like that. I don't know why we use birds and bees. They're common, I guess. So if you hear any mention about the birds and the bees do it, that's talking about sex. We have songs about the birds and the bees and the coconut trees. And we have a funny song about the birds and the bees. Kids, the way we explain the talk the first time when the kids are really small is we talk about storks. Storks bring babies. You've seen those pictures, and then sometimes, yeah, and sometimes we'll tell the kids. Parents will tell the kids. I never did it. That they're grown in cabbage patches. Cabbage is kind of a round green cabbage or lettuce. We tell them they're grown in cabbage patches. So those are the early stories we tell kids to avoid the talk. But when they get older, they know that it's not the storks and it's not the cabbage patches. It's got to be something different. So then that's when you have to confront them with the talk. Well, the birds and the bees, and then you get into humans, and it's kind of embarrassing for parents.
Well, storks are very international, I think, right, Gerard?
Mhm.
So we have emblem of storks on our medical houses. We call it peritoneal center, but I don't know is it a right term or not. Peritoneal it's mean place to give birth or something. Yeah. So it's always have some emblem with storks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't do that, but other stuff baby products have the storks. Yeah.
We have cabbage too, but it's not so popular. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's only in my family. I didn't hear it that too much, but sometimes we joke that we buy children. For instance, when my boys ask me when you got a new one, I said I bought it. It's a nice one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking about gender roles, father or mother, who should to explain that? In my culture, it's usually same gender. So father talks to boy, mother talks to daughter. Do you follow that?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Hard to say, right? Okay. So we have 5 questions on our Padlet board. Don't know who wrote it, but thank you very much. Okay, how often parents discuss about 18 plus, right? plus content with their children in your country? What would be the topic? Well, I can answer it very easily. It's 0 times. It's kind of taboo still in our society. We almost never, we do that. If you do that, that something happened already. You have to
Yeah.
explain, or it's something unpleasant, but you will not start this question.
I
Anyone else?
rarely talk with those kind of topics with my kids. It's kind of embarrassing to a parent, I guess, because you've seen the kids when they're very little and now they're adults. My son is he was a little bit, he was inexperienced, not many girlfriends, a little naive when he was younger. So he brought up a couple of problems with us privately, and we answered him. Some of them were kind of silly. After he takes a pee, I guess he never noticed. He usually does it after a shower, so he never notices that sometimes a drop of pee will fall out on your foot. So when he was about 25, maybe about 20, he came to Mama. He went to Mama. They always go to Mama first. I don't know why, but my kids go to Mama first. And they say, Mama, after I peed, a drop of pee fell on my foot. Is that normal? So I had a funny joke. I told my wife about that. So she acts real serious and says, Daddy can answer that one. Come with me. And they came in there, and he said, tell Daddy. So he told me, he said, Dad, after I pee, sometimes a few drops of pee will fall on my foot later. Is that normal? I said real serious, I said, Nikolai, there's several things you can do. You can squeeze it. I did that. You can shake it. I did that. You can bang it on the wall. Then he looked at me funny. And then I said, but it's got to go back in your pants for that last damn drop to fall. And at that point, he knew it was a joke. He knew it was a joke and it was normal. But he was so serious. He was so worried about that.
Right. Children, especially small children, they are very naive, very how to say it. I do literal translation. It's something like saint simplicity or something like this. I don't know. Is it make sense or no? Simplicity. So we usually use it like children don't follow to make you uncomfortable. They don't have this goal. They just ask question after question, but it can be sometimes it can be staged. It's exactly how it happened in this TED talk, right?
Yeah. Just we just call it innocence, childlike innocence. Yeah.
Yeah. So one day my boy asked me that he in his kindergarten where the children like about 5 years old or something like that, he said, Dad, I have a problem with one girl. I said, what happened? She forced me to marry her. And and I can do nothing with that. What to do? How to avoid this marriage? And what can I answer? I said, I don't know. You see, my wife, our mother makes the same to me. I cannot avoid that.
Yeah, my kids, when they were real small, my daughter's 3 years younger than him, and when he was about maybe 5 and she was about 2, she comes to me crying and says, Daddy, brother made me his slave for life. So I went to her, I said, Nikolai, you can't do that, baby. But he made her swear to be his slave for life, and she was so upset. Oh, boy.
So, Vasans, what about your society? Is it kind of usual topic for talk?
No, never. They don't even. Yeah, sometimes it might happen if something bad happens, like if the children get caught by kissing each other or hugging each other. So that's where the parents get alerted and they step into the talk with their children. Otherwise, they don't do that.
I see. Gerard, do you have experience about your place? How it's?
I think usually children know the topic, before the parents have to tell them, you know.
Yeah, kids talk.
Kids talk, and they are younger and younger. They learn that very young, very soon.
Not necessarily accurately, but they learn about it.
Yes. So let's switch from family. Okay.
We do have I don't know when we did it, but at some point in the past couple of decades, we introduced sex education into our school system.
Right.
I don't know what they teach. That was after I had long graduated. So God knows what they teach these days.
Right. It's exactly our second questions. From family to the school. So are your children allowed to learn sex education in their school? Well, as far as I know, it's still not in our schools. In our schools, it's still a part of biology. So like a more broad subject. So it's just a few lessons maybe to this subject. So that's all. In my time, it was very simple. Our teacher bring us a book and say, read that. Paragraph number, some numbers. Paragraph number 12. 12. Read that. It's all about that. So it's done. But it was in I forgot in which class exactly. I mean, which age. But it was far away after, we have these kid talks already. So, Vasant, what about schools in India?
No, we do not have sex education, but many people are imposing, or they are, how to say that, they are insisting to add sex education in our curriculum. Because I experienced that in my childhood when I was in 9th grade. I was introduced to that sex education because at that time the disease called AIDS was spread around the world. So they chose 2 students from every school to attend the campaign, and so I expected that to be something like a medical campaign, something like that. So I was going to be educated about AIDS only, but at that campaign I was taught about everything, every sexual matters, the menstrual cycle of women, and the masturbation of both genders, and that's where I got to know about the masturbation can be done by both genders. So it was the most awkward situation I have ever been, but I learned a lot, and now I can, I can handle any such sexual conversations without any awkwardness, because I know something. Now I can deal with that. So I'm happy about it. Actually, I'm thankful to that teacher. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying that you found this experience, this education, pretty useful, right? And
Yes.
It can be a good argument for broad more this experiment, right? To the schools, to many schools.
Yeah. Importantly, we have been experiencing the violence against women in our country for the past few decades. It's getting increased. So and I learned a lot of crimes are committed due to the lack of knowledge and the curiosity of knowing something about the sex. So that's how it happens. So in my opinion, the sexual education can be a good thing to reduce the what do you call it, the ignorance of sex.
Sorry, Gerard, do you have it in your schools?
I don't know, but I think it would be, if not, if we don't have it, it would be a good thing, because otherwise the solution is some sexual education from porn, and that's much worse. Some conservative parents think that sexual education in school is that making the children promiscuous, but the other option is much worse, because porn is something unreal and made people to think that some things are normal and that they are actually not.
Mhm.
Like in Spain, this gang rape. So 5 boys, a group of 5 boys, one boy, young man. They met a girl a little bit drunk. So they cornered her in an alley and they had sex with her. She was afraid to do not anything. But there is a big controversial thing, because there was a trial and the punishment wasn't too high because they said it's not rape, it's sexual abuse, because there wasn't blood, there was no white violence, but what could do a girl against 5 men?
Mhm.
So I think that porn, because in porn that's normal, one woman having sex with many men, that's normal. Some people may think that that's something normal, and maybe all women like that,
I see your point. So it's a good segue to our next question. Does your government allow porn websites in your country? What is their argument about banning such websites if they do that? So as far as I know, it's legal here too, as teacher Liv wrote. But I can remember that a few times our government tried to block not all porn sites, but a few particular websites. I cannot remember the reason for that, but one of this banning became too interesting and funny story, I think. So they said to this owner of the company of this website, it was Pornhub or something like this. They said that we have information that you don't check age of your visitors. So it's illegal to show it if you don't have 18 or 20 or something like this. And they tried to ban Pornhub. And it was successful, not like with Telegram. It was successful, and Pornhub was scared by that, and they made for Russia only. It's only in Russia. They made an integration with social network to prove your age. So if you have account on Facebook, it sounds like you are 18 enough. But it became to be a very funny story, because when you log into this Pornhub on your Facebook page, you see something like this, Ivan liked this video.
Oh God.
And I like this joke very much, it's it's very funny. And it's the only case I know about government and porn.
We have some porn sites. They'll pop up and say, are you over 18? And you click yes, and you can get in. It's just a question. Of course, kids are going to lie, so that's a useless, security measure. But they go through the motions of checking your age, but they don't really care. Just to let you know something funny, in America, porn sites are very ingenious. They will pick websites that are common, like Yahoo, and if you misspell it by one letter, they'll buy that URL and you'll end up going to a porn website. They bought www.whitehouse.com. So a lot of people wanted to learn about the White House, the president. So they would go to whitehouse.com and they'd get a porn site. Because over here it's whitehouse.gov is the real White House, but the porn bought whitehouse.com. So a lot of people would go there to learn about the White House and they'd end up seeing porn. So I think someone got in trouble. Now it's not a porn site. I think it's a dating site now, but it used to be a porn site. And I guess the government took action.
And what you're talking about, it might be a part of cyber squatting. I'm not sure in the spelling. I've wrote it in our chat. So it's a kind of a business, If someone has a site, for instance, Toyota.com, you just register something like Toyota.co or something like this, and then you put something unpleasant on this place. And highly likely that Toyota will come to you and pay you for that site. So this business in general is cyber squatting.
Yeah. A lot of us like that. What they'll also do is entrepreneurs will, if they see a new IPO company, like Tesla, they might run in there and buy Tesla.com and Tesla.net and Tesla. Whatever, And then when Tesla wants that URL, they'll say, well, you can buy it from me. I'll give it to you for like $1 million,
Cheap, yes.
Movies do that. That's why sometimes movie titles are crawlthemovie.com, because somebody bought crawl.com hoping to, extort them to buy it, and they'd refused.
Okay.
Crazy.
So, Sans, in your place, is those sites are legal? Does government do some fight with them or not?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, our government filed a case in our Supreme Court, and they, in order to block entire porn websites. So while that case was going on in the court, and the judge panel asked question to the government: what if a person watches porn inside his home, inside his own room? Now you are trying to invade their privacy. So let's decide what to block and what not to block, because you don't have a sex education in your education system, and you have a lot of crime against the women. And what are you trying to block to the upcoming generation? So then they decided to block the how do you call the porn that is used under 18 years?
We call it child pornography.
Yeah, child pornography. So that websites were blocked, and now the others are remaining the same, but still they are imposing to block. The government is imposing the plan, but not happen.
Right. And you raised a nice point. We forgot about that. Child porn, it's banned there, and it will be, if you publish it, you will be close to no time, and you will have problem if you not publish it but just download it. So it's it's one thing better to be far away from that in all regards.
Something else that's funny is if you're a child molester, if you have sex with kids and you get caught and go to prison, prisoners hate child molesters more than any other crime. If you go into prison and they find out you're a child molester, you're probably not going to live. I don't know why. It's funny, but do you have that in your prisons, Ivan?
It's kind of complicated, but any rapes things, not only to child, to woman, and it make you, in our prisons, I heard we have like caste system, and it makes you to the bottom immediately. Yeah. So crimes, they have their own hierarchy or something.
Yeah, we have that too.
So, Gerard, what about sites and Spain? Must be legal, I think.
Yes, it's legal in general. I think many children connect on those sites.
Yeah. Actually, it's a big problem to me now, because, my children, my older boy can write, can Google something. He doing it without he can use computer, and for instance, even YouTube. Sometimes I allow them to watch movies or cartoons from YouTube, and they just click, switch to next one, suggested one, and sometimes I can see that it's something inappropriate. But my, all the restrictions are on already, so I switch all on already. This safe content and all the things in Google, in YouTube. It doesn't help much. It doesn't help much. Eventually, it came to the wrong thing, and it's a good business actually. In Russia, we have a company that sell you child-safe internet, something like this. So it's a kind of a filter. You connect it. you connect your internet to their server to receive like
Right.
proxy server, and after that you can be sure that everything is fine. It's like a whitelist. They look at every item to check it.
Like a filter.
Yeah, it's like a filter,
Yeah.
but it's a voluntarily filter, right? You choose to use that, and
Yeah.
I think that I'm close to the solution.
Yeah, we have some like that too. I don't remember many of them, but one of them is called Net Nanny.
Mhm.
That's like an internet nanny, internet made, and it's supposed to protect, your kids from that kind of stuff. I don't know how well it works.
Yeah, but I'm not concerned only about porn or something like this. I'm more concerned about, there are a lot of bad things on the internet, like bloody scenes or something like this. For instance, do you know this cartoon? It's Pega Pig. I forgot the name. It's a small pig. It's very popular among children. I forgot her name, but anyway, what some perverts do this thing. They downloaded this movie and
Baby.
they like edited that and edit some bloody things. Big. So it's from naive movie, from naive good cartoons. They made like something like bloody hell. It started nice. So as a parent, you switch it on, you see everything is fine. Then you go out, and then you have some symptoms with your child because they see how in this cartoon animal kill each other. It's something like that. I don't know who did that. What an idiot! But it was a very famous story,
Huh.
And there are horrible things on the internet. I've seen videos where narcos do very horrible things to others, things that you can imagine.
Right.
So
Right.
that's more worrying than porno.
Yeah. And I found this name. It's Peppa Pig. I don't know. It's very popular here, and because it's so popular, they changed, the ending of the movie by this. I don't know, but I think those guys must be punished, in my opinion.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. So it's yes. And I wanted to share a story about how I avoided this the talk with my boy. It was kind of funny story. I have a niece, right? A girl, daughter of my sister, and this niece has a cat, female cat, and once they asked me to take them a ride to veterinary, to a doctor who will do a sterilization for this cat. And okay, I'm here at your service, and we go. My boy, niece, cat, and and me. And my boy asked her, why we go to the doctor? And she said, for sterilization. She's like 10 years old or something like this. And she said, what is that? Why we do this? So the talk took place with those two. She explained everything, all the processes, how it's gone, and I avoided that.
Good.
So the reason to have animals, right?
Okay. Yeah, when we do that with pets, we have two words we use. We either say we neuter them,
Mm-hmm.
or we spay, S-P-A-Y, spay them.
Right. And
So-
nowadays it's very common thing here. We do believe it's good for their health, for animal health, and something like this.
I think overpopulation is the reason we do it here. What happens is if you've got 8 pets, 8 babies, and they start growing up, you can't take care of 8 babies. So you either sell them or you throw them on the street and they become wild animals.
Or
We
kill
do it.
them.
Yeah, or you kill them. So we do it more for prevention of animal cruelty
Mm-hmm.
over here, but it's not a good thing. Yeah.
But I think it's changed in my lifetime, because 10 years ago, 50 years ago, no doctors are gives you advice to neutering your pet. It never existed. But now every time I hear this advice, when I go with my dog, he says, "You better do that. It's bad." Something like this.
Yeah. Now, if you over here, we have what we call kennels, which are like pet hotels. You know, when you go on vacation, you can put your pet in a kennel. They
Mhm.
charge you about 25 or 30 bucks a day for your pet to stay in a kennel. But sometimes they will, what they'll do, they'll let pets play with each other at playtime. And you can't put your pet in a kennel if he's not neutered or spayed, because they can make love to other dogs.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Makes sense, yes. There is a reason.
Yep.
Okay, next question is, at what age do you think a child has to be educated about sex? Well, actually, I don't know. As I said, I have a lucky incident for my boy, so it's already done without my intervention.
My preference would be after 12. But it might need to be after 6, because, as you said, kids are seeing it earlier and earlier.
Right. Internet is accessible everywhere, because even if I have this content control at home, I don't have that at their peerage mobile phones or their peers' mobile phones and so on. Yeah, so better to do it fast.
Yeah, because I don't know about your countries, but in high school, we got students having sex. By
Right.
high school. Maybe middle school, I don't know. But by high school, certainly, kids are having sex. So if you haven't taught them by then, it's too late.
Every year I hear this story on mass media about this pregnant students and so on that obviously ruins their career, future career and so on. So maybe, I don't know, it's so it's so often on media, so maybe we are trying to scare children about that, so to show in this case.
We have we had a big problem with teen pregnancies a long time ago, and I'm not sure if it's just education or advertisements on TV or what, but we've had fewer and fewer teen pregnancies over the past 15, 20 years. So either AIDS scared them, or babies, their parents teaching them better. I don't know, but we're having less of a problem with it than we used to have. It used to be a big problem.
Nice. Well, actually, I don't know the statistics about that. It's not my topic yet. It will be soon.
You haven't seen it in the news all the time in Russia, then it must not be a problem.
Okay, so Vasants, well, you said you was in 9th grade, right? 9th grade class when you got this education. Do you think should it be before or after? Do you have preferences?
Yeah, I think before can be enough, because the age you give your smartphone to your child, the age you think they can learn on their own, and that is the age you have to teach these things. At least let open the door to let them learn.
Yeah, very smart. When you gave your his first smartphone, the door is open. be prepared before this moment, not after.
Yeah, he may get a picture of his roommate naked or something on his phone that's going to all his classmates.
Right. And because of all these technologies, because of this Facebook things, social networks, I'm afraid of the moment that for instance, my boy can find my photographs from my youth on Facebook. And my authority, right, is the word, my authority will how to say it, reputation, my authority or reputation, yeah. my authority will fall at this moment,
Yeah.
So I have to push my history on the internet. Our authority will be shattered, right? And it's a real thing, nowadays. when you apply to any job, they check your Facebook, they check your internet track, right? Or how's it? That what you leave on your social networks and so on. So yeah, and sometimes a few human resources managers, they asked me to sign that I'm not against that. So they are going to check my profile everywhere in the internet when they can, because they are worried about. So, for instance, if they put me on the main page of the company, like he's our best employer, and after that, people look on the Facebook, I don't know, something terrible, that I eat cats or something like this, or have a boozy party every Friday. So they're going to check that. Is it common in your place, George?
No, I think people don't care about that.
Okay, yeah. I started to care recently.
So
I've
you
never
must
been
care.
asked. Yeah.
Yeah, about all those classes you record that are on the internet. Maybe you said
Yes.
something inappropriate because you don't think about that when we speak here. You speak here.
But in that case, my weapon is, that class is every week. So who will listen to all these hours and hours of the video? That's why I feel like protected by this longevity. Teacher Lee, please.
I've never been asked on any job interviews about my profiles, but I have read on the internet that many companies do that, and some people have lost jobs or been turned down for jobs because of it. So to me, it's your private business. I don't like that, but there are some crazy people out there. So in some cases, that may be a good thing for the company,
Well, there are many such stories about, you post something on Twitter, behalf yourself, not a company, behalf yourself, and you got fired on the next day because you said something wrong about woman or something like this.
Yeah, I disagree with that in a way, because to me that's invasion of privacy. What you do outside of work should not be your work's business,
Yes, I agree with that. I always wonder how we can get to this point. It's so strange because I know the many stories about in our IT industry. When in IT industry, many young boys, they are stupid. They post stupid things, but they are good. They have expertise. They are good workers. But we have to fire them because they wrote something on Twitter. They're young guys. They're supposed to write stupid things. It's their job. I think. Okay, but it's happened not only to youngs, right? Trump do it also.
Yeah. But over here, a single word, a single opinion can get you fired over here now. You read about it in the news all the time. You know more as much about it as I do.
Yeah.
Anything, you say the N word, you're fired.
But it's funny that now it's you don't need even write anything on your Twitter. It's enough that if someone will say something about you.
Yeah.
It's a next evolution of the idea. I wonder what will be next. I can't imagine now.
Yeah, like Ataka, with DNA control.
Yeah. So this guy looks like has a bad genome. Let's keep him now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and we have another question, kind of related, but still. What are the benefits of creating a sexual awareness to the children, in your opinion? I think there are many benefits, right? So it's Gerard mentioned some, right? And it's prevent them from making false stereotypes, right? And false ideas. So it's a good thing. It's medical benefits, right? They are more safe if they understand everything. So what else? I don't know.
Disease, as you said, pregnancy,
Right.
and evil people out there.
Right. They should understand, right, that if someone offer you something for nothing, probably it's a trap. If someone offers you to, I don't know, to take a ride on his car, right, just to show a new cat or something like this.
Yeah, we've always had kind of a policy that we teach kids. We teach them, don't talk to strangers. This has been forever in our society, but even today, now it's even worse. It's like, don't be alone with a stranger, Golly, it's so bad.
Once I read an article on the internet about don't talk to strangers, and it was a pretty interesting article. They wrote this idea: the children, they understand everything very literal. What you say, they follow that. So
Right.
many bad people, evil people, found a workaround of this rule. How? They introduce themselves. Hello, I am Uncle Sam. And now you can talk with me because you know me. I'm not a stranger anymore. So that article told us that predict. You have to predict that. You have to explain its.
Define stranger, yeah.
Yeah, define stranger. Yeah, it's yes. It's what I'm trying to deliver to my boy now. So if someone says that your father sent him, it's not true because they said it. You have to check that some way.
Yeah.
Okay. So other benefits. Let me see. So speaking not about benefits, but opposite. So how we call opposite to benefits?
Cons?
Negatives.
I would say another benefit before we move on to the negatives is if you tell the kids what is normal, like my kid's pee dropping on his foot, or something like that. If you tell them what's normal, in some cases they have this and they don't know if it's normal or not, and they get stressed, they get worried. So if you tell them what's normal and they say, oh, okay, that happens to me, that's normal, it relieves their stress. So in some cases, telling them about it, it can relieve their stress by letting them know what's normal. So if they have been worrying about that, now they can relax,
I totally agree.
Or if they're not like that, now they can think, oh, I've got a problem, I better tell my dad,
Right. I totally agree. So especially about teenagers, right? They're always unconfident. They always not self-assured. They have worry about everything. So to explain them that everyone has the same problem. It's not your problem. It's just like world going.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So what about negatives? Can you find one?
Yes, I have one.
Please.
Especially conservative people would say that sexual education is promoting being promiscuous,
Is it so? Do you agree?
No, I don't think so. They're going. I think they are risk to be promiscuous if they learn sex through porn. That's much worse.
We have an expression: "Boys will be boys." Boys want to have sex with a lot of girls so they can brag to their friends. So, I got her and I got her and I got her and I'm, and so that's going to happen. I'm afraid you got to explain to people that when they want to have sex with you, it may not be because they like you. You might be in a contest. And once they do it, then they don't care about you anymore. So,
Right.
And girls do the opposite. They say, I only had 2 boyfriends, and maybe he had 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why? Because that's how it's what society expects from them, right? It's it's just another thing. Peer pressure and parents' pressure and social pressure, yeah. So if you have a boy who said I have, I don't know, like 100 girlfriends last year, like you say, wow, what a macho, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's changing, So in the past, a girl having sex with other boys was a very bad thing, She was a slut, But nowadays we are going to a point of balance. So The day that having sex, either a boy or a girl, is the same value, this moment will have equality of genders.
Well, I can agree that I can see this tendency. Maybe we are not there yet, but I can see that it's not a taboo anymore, because I think we had discrimination in that question, right? So if girl, can speak something about that, we think, wow, what a disgusting thing,
Yeah.
She shouldn't.
Yeah, I think it's getting a little better. Yeah.
Right, and people not afraid anymore of using these programs. These programs for dating, for such things. It's something normal now, right?
Tinder.
Tinder, yeah. And it was funny advice from Gerard when I whining that no one speaks Spanish to me in Spain. Gerard advised me to use Tinder, to make a date with a Spanish girl and speak Spanish. It was a funny idea. I shared this idea with my wife, but she not buying it. But I explained it. It's for language, conversation, all these things, but still not. Okay, what? Please.
Just a quick one. I don't use Tinder. What's the difference in swiping left and swiping right? Which one's good and bad?
No idea. Sorry.
I keep hearing people say, if you go to Tinder, you don't swipe left or something like that. So I'm not sure which one is reject and which one is accept.
Usually left would be reject and right accept.
Okay. So swipe left is reject. Okay.
Do you know the main difference in Tinder of girls, boys and girls, or male and female? So females tend to select reduced amount of people, and males have a high range, a wide.
So everyone is good enough for a man, right? And
like men don't care much, but girls are more selective.
Yeah.
Yes, but maybe it's from nature,
I think it's good being selective.
Yeah, they've learned.
Call the her, like yesterday expression.
I've been to some of those websites and looked, and read. We used to have them in the newspapers. We call them the personal ads. If you remember the Pina Colada song, he was looking in the personal ads for someone to run away with him.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's on the internet and Tinder, these things. But if you read a lot of these things, what the women always want is they want someone that will show them fun and excitement. And take them around the world. They're not looking for a financial security. Most of them are looking for just excitement. They want you to spend money on them. It's like who wants a girlfriend like a girlfriend like that? It's like it's unrealistic. If that's what you're looking for, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah, but we are living in post-truth world. You should not be realistic. You should just pretend that you are. If you have a few, trips on your Facebook, you're good enough. You don't say that you work as a clerk in a small company.
That's right. I'm Mr. Chandler. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But things definitely changed because 10 years ago we had a joke that no girls in the internet at all. So, but now it's changed. Now it's almost parity. And there was a site, I forgot the name of the site. It was a site for affairs, something like that. They use that, for married men and women. They say we keep all the things in secret.
Yeah, that was in America. That was in America, right? About 7 years ago or somewhere.
Yeah.
And they got caught, and a lot of names got revealed. Yeah, I don't know the name of the website, but that was a big business. Yeah,
it was a big business. It was very funny that they were hacked, and all that was published. But another thing interesting than that, it was only 10% or less women on the site. So the rest was a male.
Yeah, that's always the case. Yeah,
always the case.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we covered the topic very well.
Yeah.
I was afraid that we could not find a lot of conversation about that, but
We took a tangent.
You know, I'll at the risk of offending Vasanth, I'd like to make an observation I have.
Mhm.
In the Middle East, as you know, when migrants move into a Western country, there's always problems with sexual abuse of women and things like that. I think the problem in the Middle East, India is not quite the Middle East. So India is probably okay, but the Arabic countries,
Mhm.
the women, because they cover up and all you can see is their eyes, the men they don't have knowledge of women and they don't have experience with sex. And when they get a woman by herself or even in public, they mistreat the women because they're so sheltered and so inexperienced, they don't know how to behave. And when they see a skimpy dressed woman or something, they just go crazy.
Mhm.
And they behave inappropriately. So not teaching people about sex in the Arabic world,
Mhm.
I think, is causing a lot of their problems in society. And especially when they go to Western societies where now they see women in mini skirts and bellies, bare waists, and they don't know how to behave and they just do horrible behavior and people hate them for it. So that's a case where sex education really would be beneficial to them, I think, how to
Mhm.
behave, appropriately.
Right. But I am afraid it's taboo, right? They
It's religion.
Yeah,
It's religious. It's not going to change.
Yeah, and I think the
I-
opposite direction it's not comfortable to right? When you go from our society to this society, you feel not in your plate, right? It's something strange.
Yeah.
Vasant, please.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to make a comment. If we are going to implement the sex education, then the question is who is going to make the first step? Because we have a joke here. One day, all the mouses in a neighborhood were conducted a meeting, and they were all afraid of the neighborhood cat, a huge cat, and so they decided to tie how do you call it? Tie a bell around his neck. So one mouse raised a question: if we are going to do so, who is going to tie the bell first? Who is going to be the brave guy? So that's kind of the situation is here. Who is going to take the first step to implement this sex education? Because sex is a taboo here, especially in India. So the convincing people is the first difficulty they are going to face, I think.
Right. Yeah, you got 20 people and one bad guy's got a gun. You can overwhelm him, but who's going to be the first one to attack? Yeah.
I'm surprised that we not mentioned all these Me Too things and first step, because it's very complicated now, right? how to make a compliment? I don't know. how to do this first step? I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's leave it for another session. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Always pleasure to talk with you. I'm going to
Thank
stay
you.
in
Yeah.
chat.